All right, guys, Zach here, Strong Life Podcast. That's my man right there, Joe DeSena. Got a little bit of a stomach issue, never fun. And we're going to talk about all things Spartan. I actually posted up a podcast of Jason Woods, who I introduced you to a couple months ago from Scotland. He will be doing your Agoge. I believe you guys are doing that in Scotland in the fall?
We're doing it in August.
In August. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he did an interview with you, and he was using it on SoundCloud. I will post it up as a bonus because he stopped doing that. So check it out. 19-year-old flies from Scotland to New Jersey to do the certification. And I'm thinking to myself, what the heck was I doing at age 19? Certainly not flying. And I said, how'd you get the money to even fly out here? He goes, oh, I'm a bike courier. I go, man, I haven't seen a bike courier even in New York City in ages. I go, so what kind of hours you work? He goes, I basically work like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like 30 hours, 10 to 12 hours a day, just biking. He goes, it's constantly up hills. I go,
Love it.
yeah. So I said, 10 to 12 hours a day. I go, you have to do 60 hours.
Those are half days.
That's
for
right.
You and I.
It's just kind of like the beginning of
He's doing
the
half
Agoge.
days? Yeah.
He's doing half day, but the Agoge is 12 hours, and then what, 24 or 4?
No. So Agoge is like 60 to 70 hours of hell.
But you could kind of cut out at 12 hours or no?
You can cut out after 24. I mean, you can cut out anytime you want. But once you're in it, you're not cutting out, right? You've got people to your right, you got people to your left. You're not looking to drop.
That's crazy. So I'm gonna just put us up here on Instagram Live. See how that goes with all the technology. So a couple things, Joe.
First things first.
Yes, sir. First thing is first. You tell me.
First things first. There is a woman that we found in Vermont. Her name's Abigail. We posted her yesterday on our Facebook page. If you want, I'll send you the video. You could post it.
Yep.
She is a badass. She's same age as the gentleman you're just speaking of that does his bike currying. Mm-hmm. She grew up homeschooled on a farm. Never went to school. She ends up at school like in college or something, and you're going to love this story. And they're doing like a little retreat in school. And so they said everybody should bring their own dinner.
In Vermont?
No, like a regular school at this point, right? She goes away. And she brings dinner. Everybody brings dinner. Yep. And it's time to eat. And she has to excuse herself and take dinner that she brought with her, which was a live rabbit, out to the back.
Dinner is a live rabbit. Love it.
And she undressed it or dressed it.
Yep.
And cooked it. And she didn't think it was weird, right? So she's got target practice every day. We got it on film. You got to see this video.
I got to check it out. It's on Facebook.
It's on Facebook. We posted it. I'm happy to send you the video. You can post it yourself. Yep. But the reason I bring it up is we get used to this normal life that we all live in, mm-hmm. right? But normal for her is completely different than normal for your guy biking 12 hours a day is different than normal for everybody else.
Yeah.
It was just frozen.
Back? There we go. I'm back. What do you think? Should I cut the video? This technology.
Yeah, we can kill the video.
All right, so let me cut the video and we're going to keep this going. So, this is I love this topic. We always get into this. And yesterday somebody interviewed me. I was driving home from Rutgers, and he goes, what are like the top 3 most special things you've done, as a strength coach? And I said, or maybe he just said as a person. And I go, I don't want to think anything I've done is special. I work hard. I bust my butt. I wake up early. I stay up late. I'm consistent. I go, but that's not special. That, to me, is what's normal. That is what is expected. And it's crazy that I think that question came out because society thinks that somebody like me is special. So what? I built like 2 or 3 gyms. Like, it's just not special, I don't think, to work hard. I was more impressed, and we always let our conversations kind of flow. When we went to Vermont, I went to Vermont 2 weeks ago, or about 3 weeks ago, to help you with the wrestling camp. So the wrestling camp is going on, but also there's a wedding going on. Then there's the Agoge Challenge, 60 to 70 hours. Then the Boston Globe is up there. Then the other event is you have all of your employees from Boston, Mass. That's where your headquarters is at, coming out for your Spartan State of the Union. There's never one thing. To me, I was wrapping my head around this. As I saw, I don't know how many participants there were at the Agoge. It looked like 60 or so. It was a lot of people, right? About 60?
At least, yeah. Maybe 100 started with.
Okay, all right. So I got there on I saw them at Saturday night. So they started midnight, the turn of Friday. And I'm looking at 60 to 70 people and 30 workers. Now I see the workers are all, everybody I'm introduced to is a former Green Beret or Army Ranger. So here's what's running through my head. How the fuck did Joe organize all of this shit? I'm like, how are all these people working?
No, I remember I got back and you had sent me that email.
It blew my mind.
It caused me to reflect for a little bit, right? Because it caused me to say, wow, Zach's right. We got a lot of stuff going on, and I didn't even do anything. I literally didn't do anything. I was in Japan. Mm-hmm. I showed up, right? You were already there.
Yep.
I showed up. Everything was rolling. And I guess it's just a testament to the people we got working with us. The good news is we got great people. And then if you asked me, Joe, what do you do to make it all happen? I guess the only thing I do is, one, I write the checks. But two is, I guess I'm motivated, right? If you're motivated, people want to get behind motivation and passion. If you're running your gym, Zach, and some mother comes in or father comes in to bring their kids, and you're like a lump, and you're not motivated, and you show no passion, you don't want to bring your kid to that gym,
but
right?
Guess what? I see a lot of unmotivated coaches or coaches who sit on their phone, and their places are pumping. So that, to me, always, I also say, well, that doesn't give me the right to do that, but I'm always trying to figure out, well, what brings people into this place if that coach is on his phone the whole time, not really paying attention to the kids? Like, how are people kind of like duped into that shit? You know, the right thing is, Gary Vaynerchuk says, it's always the right thing to do the right thing. So are you the idea guy? And then you kind of say to this person, hey, I need you to organize a lead person for the Agoge Challenge, and then I want that person to organize.
Let's think about it. Let's look at the wrestling camp, right? So I somehow, you don't like to leave your family, and I don't blame you, and you got your own stuff going on everywhere, and somehow I convinced you and Jared to put on this wrestling camp, and it was just with a few emails. And so when we think back, why would you possibly come up there, you being Zach, right? It's probably because it's like, I make it sound fun.
I don't like to let you down as a friend. For example, I still feel bad. What was the nonprofit that you started? It was the 431. I'm getting sick on the way up, and then that night I was like coughing. I couldn't even stop coughing, and I left, and I'm still mad at myself. So I was like, I gotta
be honest with you. We talk about it weekly, how disappointed we were that you didn't show up, and it should hang like a cloud over your head. So I understand why you're disappointed.
This September is 3 years ago, and I disappointed myself. I was like, man, I told Joe, and I remember like I was in one of the barns, and I was like, man, if I go in that barn and share that room, I'm gonna keep everybody awake in there. I was coughing, and I was coughing.
We talk about it weekly. We're like, Zach isn't the guy we thought he was.
That's right.
He let us down. No,
on the whiteboard, my name gets the S.
No, but the truth is, I sent you guys an email. We're doing something purposeful. We're taking young kids and running them through wrestling. Yep. It's a chance for you and I to get to see each other.
Yep.
And so we do it, right? And you're kind enough to come up and make it happen. And then let's look at the wedding, right? Peter runs the wedding business. And he's awesome. We barely talk. I'm living in Japan, and he has a team, and they just make it happen, right? And then let's look at Agogi. We got Charles and Dave, and we got this whole crew. And who wouldn't get excited about this idea that, hey, we're going to put people through 70 hours of hell. We're going to make them go into a leech-filled pond. They're going to have to walk barefoot 30 miles. We're making it sound, it's going to be a fun weekend, right? So then they get inspired, and then they make it happen. And I remember when I was a kid, I was running my swimming pool cleaning business. I remember scratching my head saying, fuck, how could I do more? How could I expand? How could I get people to actually get a good job done? And somehow, 30 years later, it's just happening. Because like I said, you were already running the camp when I showed up.
Yeah, but here's some of the other things I think about. When you're doing stuff with other people, man, the energy is so powerful, right? Yep. Now, somebody in my shoes, small warehouse gyms, it's always one guy coaching. You always feel like you're alone. I always tell strength coaches, you need to be mentally tough because you've got to show up in this place that never has air conditioning. You know, you got 3 months where it's probably over 90 degrees, but you have to find purpose in helping these kids. You're getting paid. You're not killing it. You're getting paid good. But I always find, like, I was trying to compare it to each time I go to Vermont, there's less and less people. I describe it as the last of the Mohicans. I see Peter, I see the people running the general store, and I see Josh and Ann over at Trailside Inn. Everybody else is in for a little bit, or they're gone after a few years. So is it a money thing? Is it this is their true north thing? I mean, there was a shit ton of people helping at the Agogi. I'm wondering, like, do you pay everybody, or do you just say, hey, this is it? Like, the wrestling thing is not, nobody gets paid for the wrestling thing. That money goes into the food, organizing, getting all the, I mean,
the wrestling thing is just a passion project, right. Just like 431 was, right? But the wedding business, we hope to at least break even and pay the bills for the farm because it's just awesome to have the farm. Agogi, obviously a loser from an economic standpoint, but it puts out incredible content, and it's a lot of fun. As far as the last of the Mohegans, I think there are people that are committed, and there are people that are interested in life. Yep. And over the 14 years of having the farm up there in Vermont, we've come across a lot of people that are just interested, right? And you've come across those people. It's the guy that grabs the broom or the mop when he shows up the first day in your gym to work, right? That guy's committed. He's going to hustle. He's going to get stuff done. The one that's sitting in the corner saying, I got nothing to do, they're just interested. They heard about a job at the gym, and they showed up, and they were hoping to get paid, but that's not your guy, right?
Yep.
So why is somebody successful versus somebody that isn't? I think it's because you got to be committed, and then you got to have your back up against the wall, right? You got to have a little struggle. You got to owe some money. You got to be telling people you're doing this, and now your reputation's on the line. And without all that, when the going gets tough, you're out. And so Charlie, you didn't want to disappoint. Charlie running Agogi doesn't want to. Peter's name's on the door. Mm-hmm. That wedding's got to go off, right? Otherwise, his reputation's on the line. Josh and Ann are running that bed and breakfast. They want to protect their name, and they want to grow their business. So
what inspires you? We all say, guys like us say, well, my family. My family inspires me. But what else? Like, if we look at, to keep going.
I think about this morning. Let's just think about this morning. You can walk through your scenario. I'll walk through mine. So I woke up a little late this morning. It was probably, 5:50. And immediately I grabbed my phone. 12 seconds after my eyes open up, I grab my phone. It's probably unhealthy. Yeah. Ben Greenfield would tell us. You'll tell us. But I got to know what's going on. So I haven't even peed yet. I'm looking. I see texts from China. I see, I'm supposed to do a call with Japan. So I'm rolling, right? I'm looking at the clock, and I'm like, man, the kids got to get their workout. I got this call with Japan. I got to respond to this guy in China. Shit, I got emails coming in from Germany, but the kids got to work out. Number one on my list, kids got to work out. They got to have their green juice, and they got to work out. So I'm on fire from the second I wake up. I don't know. You're the same way.
Yeah, I love getting shit done. I love getting shit done. But yeah, I guess like the other option is just be average. I can't stand it. It actually angers me, and I'm trying not to. I was speaking to Ro Singh last night, who you've been in touch with. He interviewed you when you were in Singapore, and just reminded me of like how important it is to be around like-minded people, because it is draining of your energy when you're carrying everybody. And I'm assuming you got to feel like that a lot of the time. Like you're waiting for somebody to be, who can be more fired up than me? Who can be more motivated than me? You're just waiting for somebody to bring some fire, right?
Yes, all day, every day.
It's
but what you saw in Vermont was guys that actually do it, right? You and Jared made the wrestling camp happen. Charles and his team made a Gogi happen. Peter made the wedding happen. They had fire. They got it done. But let me tell you, I went through about 500 people before I got to them.
Yeah. And what do you do? Who's interviewing these people? You or the other people? Or?
Well, over the last 14 years, I mean, I would just bring people in and they last about 12 minutes. And then you get somebody new, you get somebody new, you get somebody new, and finally you land on people that get it done.
Yeah. And I think it's like being transparent about that stuff is important. Sometimes I just tell the parents, I email the parents of the athletes through our software system often, and I go, look, one time a parent said, such and such, feels like the coaches change a lot. I go, listen, a coach is probably going to stay here 2 to 4 years. We're only open part-time, so it's never a full-time thing. I understand they got to take care of themselves. Maybe they're finding a job, a career, going to do their own thing. And I go, and I have high expectations. I always say it's part-time hours, but I want your full-time dedication to the craft. I want you studying. I want you researching. I want you figuring shit out instead of being on Facebook and Instagram and telling me you don't have the time. It's a weird world we're in, and I feel like there's no middle ground. The other week, somebody emailed me. I have a program that's $27 a month. And the guy said, I thought I saw it for $17 a month, and I'm budgeting. And I wanted to say, dude, I think I did say, I go, if your $10 a month is the make or break, I go, we've got a whole nother issue. It has nothing to do with my online training program. I always say, I go, if I was 40 or 50 or whatever age this guy is, and I needed $10 that month, I'd wash one car a month and make $20. Do you know what I'm saying? I'd go, but I could do it better. I would come home from work and I would have the whole neighborhood, I'm washing your car by hand. I'd bang out a car an hour for $20, maybe $25. And if I do, 10 cars, there's my $250. Then I get a partner and he gets more cars and I go, we're going to do 50-50. Like, I would just leverage it. I feel like they need to teach that stuff in school. You
just gave me an idea. When my kids get back from swimming, they did the workout with me. They just went for a swimming thing, and when they get back, I'm going to make them wash the car, because my father used to make me, like, my father just wanted me out of the house, right? So he'd go outside, wax the car. Remember the old Simonized days?
Yeah.
Right? Go out there, wax the car. He'd come out, he'd say, unacceptable. He'd find any spot where I missed taking the wax off. He'd give me Q-tips. I had to get in between the crevices. And when I was all done, he'd say, you know what? It needs a second coat. Do it again. It was literally like Mr. Miyagi. But you're right. There should be a class for that.
Well, it's like the biggest thing for me with the kids is like I want them to be tough and to not complain and cry. So like when my kids cry about something like, I didn't get ice cream today, or I had this sporting event and now I need to get like ice cream. I go, no, the prize is not the food. The prize is all that work you just did. That's the real gift. The gift is in the work. But everybody wants a reward for everything they do. It just makes me nuts. I'm trying to figure out ways to change that. That's why
I told them this morning with the workout. I said, all right, guys, we're having a challenge. I try to make it fun, right? I want to get the workout done, and I want them to do a good job and push hard. And so I said, look, we're going to go to Buddhaberry is the ice cream place over here, they call it, right?
Yep.
So I go, all right, everybody, we get this done. We're going to Buddhaberry. So my little one, my 4-year-old goes, and we got to have toppings too. And I said, no, we don't, this family, we don't have toppings. You either get vanilla or chocolate and that's it, right?
I remember this.
So then they're going a little more. And I said, you know what? I changed my mind. Your only choice is broccoli. We can get broccoli ice cream.
Broccoli. That's how you go out of business.
And you can get Brussels sprout topping. How's that?
That's how you go out of business. The guy in town who owns a Dairy Queen, man, that place is packed. It is packed.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty, it's pretty. I love seeing what's going on with Spartan, and I think people have, when they see stuff on Instagram or Twitter or YouTube or whatever the social media outlet is, they assume that everything is so smooth. And I try to explain to people, I go, look, my gym, you saw a video, it's pumping. I go, but guess what? The hour after that, there was 1 or 2 kids. And I go, guess what? Then I got a great kid whose parents are telling me I'm changing his life. But then they show up next week and say, hey, he can't train with you because his coach said if he doesn't show up to the weight room, he ain't training. Or the coach has banned kids from going to the underground strength gym from this town. And it's like those challenges can make or break you. And sometimes they break you, but it's like, I remember you talking about how do they build like a samurai sword? They like put it in fire, then they beat it, then they drown it, and then the sword is stronger. And I feel like each thing we have the choice to say, this makes me stronger, or I will cower and be weak. And you and I, we want everybody to be strong, but then we say, well, that's like everybody gets a trophy, or that's like everybody is, a millionaire. It's a human food chain, and it's just, I don't know why, but that's the way it works. We want everybody to win, but it's not the reality.
No, we have winners and losers every morning in our workouts, and I've even worked out a handicap system. Last night after dinner, I said we're going to do a second workout in the garage. I got one of these rope pulleys, and it tracks. It tracks how far you can pull the rope. So I said we're going to do 1 minute challenges, and I gave each kid a handicap, and it was awesome. But there was winners and losers.
Yeah,
tough luck.
Yes. So what do you say to somebody who, your own kids when they lose? Okay, you lost the rope pull.
Yeah, you're going to have to get stronger or faster or smarter.
That's
right. I don't know what to tell you.
There's a great documentary called Terry. And Terry Brands, him and his brother wrestled under Dan Gable. And Terry lost in the Olympic trials. You're supposed to get best 2 out of 3. He wins. He lost the second one, loses again. Freaks out, and his dad says to him, you get what you earn. He didn't say,
you get what you earn. I like that.
That's what he said to him. He goes, you get what you earn. So now there's like this big, in the wrestling community, those who have watched it, we try to like impart that, hey, you get what you earn, and hard work has to just be the normal thing. I also feel like I spoke with a buddy of mine. I tried connecting him with you guys during one of the Spartan podcasts, but he was traveling. And he's, one of the most well-known Marines. And he said sometimes, all these quotes we come across, like, outwork everybody. He goes, sometimes you actually need that moderation or that downtime. And I was like, I can't believe you're fucking telling me this. I said, out of all people, you're telling me this. And I said, I wonder if you feel that way because of everything you've accomplished. And I go, I say I have a lot of regrets. And he goes, regret is a fool times past. Like, it's just gone. And he goes, for you to be able to do the work and be hardcore or whatever this is, he goes, you're going to need those down times and those sitting times. But I have to actually try to train myself a little bit of that. Like once a week, I might sit on a couch. And when I sit on the couch and turn on TV, I'm like, good God, is this what people do every day? This is fucking weird. Like, people do this every day. Yeah, so, the other day we went to the beach. The wrestlers came down here. We trained. We went and got food. And then we went to the beach. And they didn't even stay. They all, had to leave. And I was like, look at us. nobody could even just like chill out for an hour. But I guess that's what it takes, for those of us that are high achievers.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
So what else you got going on, Joe? You're in Montauk now, summertime. How do you manage things in a vacation spot?
Well, I got my emails have not stopped. You're probably hearing pings in the background. That's every time an email comes in. And I just try to be I try to always work out at a kitchen wherever I am in the world. So I see the kids. I got to get my workout in, which even though we work with the kids, I did not get my workout in this morning. So I still got my workout to do today. I'm pissed off about that.
Me too.
There are no vacations. I've yet to be I've been here 3 days. I haven't seen the beach yet. So
really,
I just built an obstacle course in the backyard. I have my carpenter buddy. Wait till you see this thing. It's going to be awesome.
Wow. I'll have to send you a photo. I did a podcast with my friend Max. His backyard has parallel bars, monkey bars. He turfed it. And he goes, every time I do a podcast, take my headset and I'm moving. I'm walking on the balance beam.
Love it.
Yeah, so I'll have to send you some videos of him. He's out near, in that town where Mark Devine lives, Encinitas, out in California. Hey, guys watching, if you have a question for my man Joe DeSena, drop a comment below. So you haven't you're there for 3 days. Why are you not in the ocean swimming and doing something like that?
Because I'm friggin' emailing until Apple comes up with a swimmable computer. I'm stuck. Dude, I mean, come on. I mean, it just doesn't stop.
Did Tim Ferriss teach you nothing about managing emails?
Let me just tell you something about Tim Ferriss, okay? Tim told me about this 4-hour work week garbage, and when I talk to him, he works about 120 hours a week.
Yeah,
so,
he's a workhorse.
Come on.
He is a workhorse.
4 hours a week is maybe if you got it like a poodle. The poodle works 4 hours a week. But yeah, you want to get something done.
Everybody that knew him said or knows him said, yeah, he just works his ass. He's just worked his ass off. I know that there is some sort of like surf school out in your area, Montauk. And,
yeah, I had the kids doing surfing the last few years out here. I've had this house for over 20 years, so I used to come out here as a kid,
yep.
And so we think we're going to move to Europe next year. Work on Europe. I just was in Europe. I had an unbelievable week out there. It was great.
A lot of not that I'm like a politics guy, but man, there's something's going on there where all the terror attacks are more frequent out there than in other places. Where are you what's attracting you to go to Europe?
I am going to Europe because we're just going to grow out Spartan in Europe, and so in order to do that, me and my family, you know me, we completely dive in, and
yep.
If I'm over there, it's going to just help grow the business.
Putting a face in front of it.
Yep.
What about let's talk about a little bit of business stuff. Just we kind of bounce around. So you own this house here. You have it for 20 years. You and I had a discussion a couple weeks ago where I was talking about purchasing property, purchasing land, and you said if you could do it all over again, you would rent. Now, I spoke with a guy recently. He's a custom homes builder, and he goes, man, that's weird. And he's a little bit older than you, and he goes, see, my father was a custom home builder, then my brother did it. It's in our blood. He goes, I was taught, own your stuff, and then if you want to rent it out, you can. Was there a moment in time where you were like, man, forget all this owning shit? You told me.
Well, I've been saying to you. I mean, I own a lot of stuff, unfortunately, and some people listening might say, "Oh, fortunately," but stuff you don't really own stuff. It owns you. You hear the stories about, oh my God, so and so owned real estate for 30 years and they made $300,000. Okay, did they really make that? Or what about when you add up all the costs and the headaches for the 30 years of maintaining that property, replacing the roofs, getting the phone calls on Saturday night, the toilet's clogged? Like, if you're disciplined and you're can save money and put it away, and just earn, some kind of decent return in another way, I don't know, man. I've never been so relaxed, Zach, when I go and we rent a house or an apartment, because if the doorknob doesn't work, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. It's not mine.
Yep.
I mean, like, you know how you and I are the same way. You're probably looking and saying, "Oh, the floor's scratched."
Yes.
That aggravates you.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be aggravated. We're on the planet for a short time. Like get rid of the aggravation.
When I went on my honeymoon to Aruba, every morning I'd be out there early in the morning, and there was a line of like the husbands that would go out early to get the cabanas, to rent the cabanas.
Yep.
And this one guy was, I guess it was his son or son-in-law. He was talking about this hunting trip that he was on. Yep. And then we wound up just talking. And this was the beginning of me starting my business. It was 2004. And he's like, we're here in Aruba, and there was like 12 of them. All of his daughters, their husbands, his wife, the kids. And he said, let me tell you some stuff about business. He goes, there's something about you that, like, he's like, I don't know why, but like I could tell you're doing this stuff. So he goes, let me tell you. He goes, I've been in business, since my early 20s as a builder. And he goes, you're going to start hearing some bullshit now, such as take the weekends off, don't be there, don't spend too much time. He goes, let me tell you. He goes, I was always there. He goes, because if you're not there, it's not going to go as planned, number one. He goes, number two, live below your means. He goes, I'm still driving like a 1990-something pickup truck with roll-down windows. He goes, but if I sold my house, I'd sell it for over $1 million. He goes, last night I took everybody out to eat. My son-in-laws all wanted to pay. I paid for it cash, $1,000 or over for all the dinner. He goes, you got to live below your means. And he goes, and now, only now, he may have been in his 50s, late 50s. He goes, now I'm setting my rules. He goes, so somebody wanted me to build for them in Florida. I told them only if I could do it in the winter and I'm not working these hours and my first few hours are golf. And I remember him saying, live below your means, cash. I said, what about real estate? He goes, nope, I'm all liquid, all stocks. He goes, if I ever want to sell it, he goes, I sell it. So you worked on Wall Street. Any quick thoughts on stock market?
Listen, I'm terrible at making money in the market. We had a business and a company there, and so we made money as a business. But as far as investing, the way to make an absolute fortune in the market is to be disciplined and wait for those moments. 2009 was a moment in time where the market just collapses, right? 1987, 1997. There are these spots where the world is just ending and the market's getting pounded. And at that point, if you're liquid, and you say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to go in and I'm going to buy companies that I believe are going to be around for the long term, and General Electric, whatever it is at that moment in time, and I'm just going to forget about it. You're gonna do okay. Now there's all kinds of people that'll say, oh, well, you're going to miss all the other times if you don't. Everybody has their own philosophy, their own methodology. If you have the discipline and you can wait it out, you wait for those times when things get ugly. It might be 5 years from now, whenever it is, and then you put some money to work.
Right. So supposedly it's like this every 8 to 10 year cycle. Supposedly we should be having a economic crash coming up soon. That's what some of the people say.
Who knows? It could be 3 years from now. It could be 5 years from now. But when it happens, and it's not, you don't get right in right away, because these things do take time to flush out the sellers. Mm-hmm. Warren Buffett, right? When there's blood in the streets, and you want to have a shopping list ready to go. Like, these are companies I believe are going to be around for a long haul. And you got your shopping list.
Yep. And then
you're just waiting for the stuff to go on sale.
That's right. With what's interesting now is, like, for the past, you said it was like 08 or 09, that last crash. Yeah. Things are so different now with technology. For example, Facebook was kind of new in that 2005, 2006 time. Now, the amount of people that are utilizing Facebook and Instagram and all this shit, it's it's pretty crazy. And I always say, like, you know, no matter how bad things get, people will have money for what they want. It's not always the things they need, but they have money for what they want, right? When somebody says to me, hey man, can I get a discount? I don't have the money. They get a tattoo, or they're at the bar every weekend. So sometimes it's these kind of these basic things that always, like, you love burpees and hill sprints. Those things have been working for centuries, but people still want the complicated because the shit that you really need is hard. It's hard. It's the hard stuff.
Very hard.
The basics, I feel, will win in life, and they will win in business, you know. And I think business, where we're at now, Joe, is a lot of communicating with people and showing that you're a human versus kind of like a mass marketing thing. You know,
we do business with people we like. So I agree.
Yep, it's like that old school baker's dozen where you're taking care of people. They buy 11, they get the 12th thing for free. So what does the summer look like for you before we close out here, Joe? You're going to be in a vacation spot, not really vacationing. You got to get out there and get a workout going.
I got to get my workout done, and I got to get the kids healthy. We're going to wrestling camp at Cornell with Rob Cole on Sunday, so that's exciting. We're going to go up to Ithaca.
Yep.
And then I got a few trips lined up. I got to go out to California. I got to do a bunch of shit. Got to go to Europe again. I just gotta live to fight another day, Zach. Yep. That's it. I gotta get through today.
Somebody asked a question saying, how do you come back once you've lost momentum? How do you get that spark inside? And I feel like what you just said is, you don't stop.
You just don't stop. You just don't lose momentum, right?
You just don't stop.
It's non-negotiable. I got to get my workout in today. I missed it this morning. It's going to happen today. I got to get through all my emails. I got to be better today than I was yesterday, right? I got to, with tiny little increments. We're going to be better today, and that's that.
Don't complicate everything. I want to leave it as that. I feel we complicate a lot of shit where you really, like, if you want to succeed, show up every day and do your best. As cliche as that sounds, if you do that, you're going to get better. You will win the day. That's it. My man Joe DeSena, Spartan.com, Spartan Up the podcast. What else do we got, Joe? Spartan.com, right?
Win your day. I like that.
Win your day. Own the day. Yep. All right, guys.
Win your day.
I'm going to close out here. Joe, do you have anything that you want to announce?
I want to announce that anybody that is a friend of Zach's that wants to go, if you're a friend of Zach's and you want to go to Iceland, we got a World Championship Ultra in December. If you want to go to Iceland, you get in touch with Zach, and we're going to pick a couple of winners.
I don't have a lot of friends. Oh, man. And I know you were just in Iceland. Guys, go to Spartan.com, Spartan Up Podcast. I'm going to link everything on the blog at zachevnesh.com. Joe is the man. Make sure you guys review and share out the Strong Life Podcast. I appreciate you guys listening. We'll talk to everybody soon.